Now for a look at the day's top business news, and we're going to start with Boeing, whose 737 MAX series jets remain grounded worldwide after two deadly crashes. The Boeing CEO vowing to stay on in his role, however. France 24's business editor BRYAN Quinn is with us to tell us more. BRYAN.
Boeing CEO says the company clearly fell short in its development and release of critical flight control and safety systems on the 737 MAX. Boeing has reportedly finished updating the MCAS software believed to be behind two recent crashes that killed nearly 350 people, but has yet to deliver it to regulators for approval. The ongoing grounding of the 737 MAX fleet worldwide has disrupted airline planning for the busy coming travel season. Yuka Roya reports.
Boeing's bestseller may not return to the air until after the summer holiday season. The International Air Transport Association, a trade group representing 4/5 of the world's air traffic, thinks it will be at least 10 to 12 weeks before the 737 MAX jets can fly again. Nearly 400 of them have been grounded since March, following two fatal crashes in 5 months. Both were linked to faulty sensor data affecting the plane's flight control system, and crucial safety features that would have alerted the pilots about the problem didn't work.
We know that the MCAS software was activated multiple times during that flight, and in the end, that added to the pilot workload. The implementation of that software, we did not do it correctly, and our communication on that was not what it should have been.
Boeing has also been heavily criticized for failing to notify the US aviation regulator, FAA, about this systemic fault for more than a year after it was discovered by its engineers. The plane maker has now completed a software update to avoid similar crashes in the future, though it has yet to submit it to the FAA for approval. The aviation giant is paying a high price for its mistake, following the two disasters which together claimed 346 lives. In addition to order cancellations for the 737 MAX jets, it is facing lawsuits from victims and airlines.
Next, Huawei is pressing ahead with its ambitions to be a leader in global 5G networks. The Chinese tech giant opened a new 5G lab in South Korea Thursday aimed at developing an ecosystem in cooperation with Korean tech firms and startups. That opening, though, overshadowed by the U.S. Commerce Department's decision earlier this month to add Huawei to its entities list, essentially banning it from doing business with American suppliers. On Wednesday, the firm asked a U.S. court to declare unconstitutional a law preventing U.S. agencies and contractors from doing business with it over cyber espionage fears. Huawei says it will fight the U.S. Commerce Department's ban as well.
We think the entity listing is unwarranted. We think it should be reversed. We think that the global supply chain, there are many companies, there are thousands and thousands of people all over the world, many of whom do not carry an American passport, who are now being affected by a law enacted by the US government. Is that fair? Is it reasonable? We believe it's not.
Time for a check on the markets. Asian indexes mostly following Wall Street downward amid U.S.-China trade tensions. The Nikkei closing down around 1/3%. Chinese indexes in the red as well. Hong Kong's Hang Seng down around 0.4%. Shanghai Composite off 1/3%. The Kospian sold one bright spot, closing up 0.75% as Samsung shares gained there. Here in Europe, markets opening in positive territory after 2 straight days of losses. London's FTSE 100 just barely above the flat line. The CAC 40 here in Paris up just under 0.4%, just over 0.4% for the Frankfurt DAX at the open. And finally, for business, most Uber passengers are probably aware that they aren't the only ones giving post-ride ratings. Drivers are rating them as well. The company is now taking aim at rude passengers. They'll soon begin receiving notices that they're at risk of being banned from the app. The policy is already in place in Australia, New Zealand, and India. Next week, it takes effect in the US and Canada. As part of their warning, poorly rated riders will receive tips on improving that rating, such as being polite, not asking drivers to break traffic laws, and not leaving trash in the car when they get out. If you have to learn that from your Uber app, Eve, there's a problem, I think.
Indeed, it does seem like pretty basic
basic
levels there. BRYAN Quinn, thanks a lot for that business update.